What's going on, everybody? Back out here working on the old K-swapped MR-2 Spyder, and boy do we have a good one for you today. As you probably remember, the last time we were at the track, you probably heard this pretty insane clutch ride. Well, some bad news. Wasn't exactly a clutch ride. I did try to ride it a little bit, but not that much. And I thought it might have slipped, but I wasn't sure. Then once we got this turbo bolted on here, and I started playing around with this thing a little bit, it's bad. You can't send it from a stop at all. And even if you make a pull and then try to make another one, and keep in mind, I'm talking about just rolling into it at like 15 miles an hour. It will just instantly haze the clutch. I always knew that was going to be a problem, and I always had a solution in mind. Now, a good clutch, right, a good triple disc is about, I don't know, $1,500, $1,600 to $1,800. And I didn't want to spend that. I don't even have that, but I didn't want to spend it either way. So I started looking for some other alternatives, and even a good, like a regular single plate clutch that would hold the amount of power that I'm making right now, you know, just around $500. They were like $600, $700. So I figured if I'm going to spend that kind of money, let's do a little experiment. I have here the infamous $600 Amazon triple disc, Adler Speed Amazon triple disc, and it looks pretty good. Look at this thing. It's packaged really well. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad, man. It looks really, really good for $600. And, you know, it's not cheap. Like I said, it was $600. But, yeah, at that price point, I just figured I had to give it a shot and at least see what it could do. So, today, we're going to be taking this transmission out. I'm actually going to be doing some work on the transmission, but that'll be in a separate video. But we're going to take this transmission out, take out that old factory clutch we got in there, and we're going to stuff in the $600 Amazon triple disc, and then take it out there and go make some hits and see what happens, see if it'll hold. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this. Just based on looking at it, I'm a lot more optimistic, I'll put it that way. I was really skeptical to gamble $600 on an unknown clutch, but at the same time, it's a clutch. So as long as everything holding it together is good and solid, you know, it's going to do what it needs to do. I don't think I'd want to throw this in my daily driver, obviously. Not even, obviously you wouldn't put the triple disc, but like even a lighter clutch you wouldn't want to throw in your daily driver. I have a feeling that, you know, the wear over time, stuff like that might be an issue. But considering this is a dedicated drag car, it's running for, you know, 8, 9, 10 seconds at a time. I just need something that's going to hook up and grab. It doesn't matter if the engagement is harsh or any of that stuff. So we're about to find out. Can you save, what, 2/3, right? At $600, that's a third of the cost of a triple disc. This thing was $600 shipped and delivered. And the cheapest triple disc I could find, like reputable, $1,500. So we're going to find out. Did I save $1,000 or did I just spend $600 extra when I end up having to buy an Action triple disc or a different brand triple disc? Pull this thing out and stuff it in there. Let's find out together. When I assembled this car, I had always planned to just take the motor and transmission out together as a pair. However, when I was looking at it, it really looked like I could get the transmission out fairly easily. So I figured I'd take a stab at it and see. So this is the process here. It really wasn't too bad after all. So I didn't realize it, but I forgot to turn on my camera when I took out the axle. But I did get that out, no problem. Everything down there loose, all the bolts out of the bottom. I got the cover off the bottom, everything from that. Took off the shift linkages, got everything loose down in here, so we should be ready to go. All I got to do now is roll the jack under it, take all the bolts out of the top and one out of the back, and it should come right on off. I got the mount off right here, so all I have to do is take those loose, loosen that mount, and we should be good to go. I forgot to mention, to be able to slide it off, you also have to loosen the half shaft as well. Well, there it is, out and in the floor. It is possible to take it out with the engine still in there quite easily. It was a little rough this first time because I've never done it before, so I had to figure out what all had to come off. I had to take off a little bit more than I'd planned. Like this motor mount over here had to come completely off, which it really didn't need to, but I just couldn't get enough clearance and I didn't want to drop it down as far as I ended up having to anyways. But now I know for next time. Also, I didn't have the half shaft loose enough, so I had to get that a little bit more loose. And once I got those two things done, it slid right off. But there it is, it's out, it's empty, nothing but an engine in here. So now I'm gonna stick a screw jack under it so it doesn't fall. And we're gonna move on to phase 2 of this project, which is installing that clutch. I'm also gonna be doing some work on this transmission, a pretty cool build on this transmission, but that'll be a different video. But let's go ahead and get this old clutch off of here. This nice factory clutch there, so that we can go ahead and get the flywheel off and install our new Amazon triple disc. I don't like that bad. Still appears to be in decent shape, which is good news because I'm probably going to end up using it in a different project I've got when I mock it up too. So here's our new Adler Speed triple disc with medium lightweight flywheel. That's the one I went with. I'll go ahead and pop up an image right here of the listing. I've been eyeballing this thing for about a year now because I knew I was going to have to upgrade the clutches, and yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to drop $1,500 on a nice triple disc. Not for a car like this. Maybe if it was a little nicer, but... So, let me get this pressure plate assembly off here. I'm going to be real careful to keep all this stuff intact. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw the, alignment tool through it. I'm just going to keep it all stacked up just like it is. Throw this plate on there and then immediately torque this down on top. Alright, let's get this puppy bolted up. Kind of hard when you can't see, but it appears that it'll fit. There we go. Okay, we're good. It's recommended that you use the red Loctite, but man, that stuff can be real hard to get out sometimes, so I don't think I'm gonna go that route. I'm gonna go with the blue, but for the record, you should use the red. Get all those good and Loctited up, and we can go ahead and run them down and torque them up to 90 foot-pounds. Now getting the pressure plate torqued down, they recommended 23 foot-pounds. All right, there she is, good to go. The Amazon triple disc, Adler Speed triple disc has been installed. All we gotta do now is slap our trans back on there and get everything put back together. Time to get this here trans reinstalled. It actually went back in a lot easier than I thought. It went in even easier than it came out. I was also able to make a few little adjustments, like in the direction in which I put the bolts through the motor mounts and things like that. That'll make it to where if I ever have to do this again, it'll be much easier. I won't have to remove the turbocharger or any of that mess. I'll just be able to slide it right on out. All I got to do now is go ahead and get the clutch cover bolted back on it, get it filled up with fluid, a few other little odds and ends tied off, all the wires tied up and out of the way, and then we can finally figure out what this Amazon triple disc is made of. Here's the setup that I came up with for the clutch pedal stop. I just took this bracket that was over here. It's already part of the clutch pedal from the factory. It had a hole in this spot. I made it a little bit larger to be able to fit this 5/16 bolt through it. And now it hits back there on that plate. I did have to pop the rubber stopper that was in there from the factory off, but now I have this nice long bolt that I can use to adjust my clutch throw and stop the pedal. You do have to have this because the triple disc is thicker. The physical clutch is thicker, obviously. And so if it has that same amount of motion to it, it will actually go too far for the triple disc and bend all the levers on the clutch plate. And we don't want that. So this is what I came up with. I think this is gonna work pretty good. So it's stuffed back in there, got the intercooler back on it, turbo back on, everything put back together. Took a little while just because it was the second time I ever had to put everything back together, but it really wasn't that bad. I'm really not dreading having to do this again, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, getting it in here the first time was kind of rough, but after that, it seems to just kind of go back together pretty easily. But now that it's all in there, all back together, let's go ahead and get this thing set back down on the ground and take it for a test drive. Folks, we're back on the ground, and she does have reverse. Got it sitting here warming up. I need to make a few tweaks to the tune. I did add that flex fuel sensor and fuel temperature sensor, oil pressure now going to the ECU, and it's running a little rich now that I got that sensor wired in there and properly configured. So I am gonna have to do a little adjusting on the tune, maybe even put a little timing in it at idle just to smooth it out a little bit. But it is running and it looks like it's ready for a test drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and suction cup y'all to the window and let's go on up the road and see if we have all 5 gears or not. It's definitely a race car now, that's for sure. Now that we got that flex fuel sensor on there, it's running a little lean. I got a little bit of fuel added to it. I can go ahead and go through and calibrate all my gear ratios. I had to change it from 6 down to 5 and get all that sorted out. But everything appears to be good. I mean, it went forward in all 5 gears. It shifted fine. Everything seemed fine. I couldn't really get on it much, obviously, because it was leaning out. But overall, it seemed pretty good. Let's go out for one more ride and just make sure everything's good. The rain's about to come in, so it's probably the last time I'm gonna be able to drive it for like 4 or 5 days. It's about to be freezing cold and pouring rain. So let's go ahead and take it out one more time so I can calibrate all these ratios and maybe even get on it a little bit. Folks, Accord gears and a RSX Type S transmission with a Amazon triple disc, an Adler Speed Amazon triple disc, and a Chinese sketchy LSD. It's all in there, and shockingly, it all works. I couldn't really get on it too much because, one, I don't have any water in the intercooler tank. It's about to get down to like 19 degrees this next week, so I don't have any water in that. So I didn't have an intercooler, so I didn't want to hammer on it too bad. And we added a flex fuel sensor, oil pressure sensor to the ECU, a whole bunch of other things that I just have to get everything tuned in before I can really start ripping on it again. I got the gear ratios set, but there's still a whole bunch of other things I got to tweak in there. I got a latch for this door so it shuts properly now. a whole bunch of little updates. I moved the intercooler water tank to this little spot back here where the fuel tank used to be, so it's no longer back here next to the exhaust, just getting cooked. Yeah, just a lot of little updates and stuff. So I'm really excited to take this thing out, test it out, try it out a little bit. I do have to get a roll cage in it, which I've already in the process of doing. I've just got to finish getting everything I need to install the cage in it, and then we'll be 100% good to go. Other than that, man, she's pretty much ready. When I started this project, I had a parts list, and it's pretty much got every part in it now. I'm not gonna say it's like done, but it's definitely done for the time being. This is all it's gonna get. It's time to throw a cage in it and go enjoy it. You know, you can't just spend all your time putting parts on something. You got to get out and enjoy it. And I built this thing to enjoy, to go drag racing, and that's precisely what we're about to do. It's January right now. I figure I got about another month or two to get this cage in it. Then come March, we can start racing for real. March, I think, is when the 8th mile track opens up, so I could take it up there and test it a little bit. And then the end of March is when the 1/4 mile track, the big track in Montgomery, opens up, and we can go send it out the back. So man, really excited, really pumped. This whole project, I'm so happy with how it turned out. You know, a lot of people might see it and just see an old busted up looking car, but you got to remember, I'm about $9,600 into this heap here, and for a dedicated race car, $9,600 is pretty cheap. I'd find it hard pressed to build a car that's going to run times like this one will consistently without coming apart for $9,600 all in. So I'm very happy with it, and it's time now just to take it out and enjoy it. Make sure and tune into the next one where we're going to be putting in a roll cage, racing seat, harness, everything else we need to be safety compliant. And then the very next video after that will be some good hard launches and testing. So thank y'all all so much for watching. We appreciate it very much, and we'll see you again real soon.